In September 2014, a small group of hunters exploring a remote, densely wooded area in Tennessee stumbled upon something that would haunt them forever. Hidden deep within a thick cluster of bushes, partially covered by fallen leaves and tangled vines, lay a large, oddly placed bucket. At first, they hesitated, unsure of what they had found, but as one of them cautiously peered inside, an overwhelming sense of horror washed over him. The bucket contained human remains, decomposed beyond recognition. Panicked, the hunters immediately contacted authorities. Law enforcement officers arrived quickly, securing the scene and carefully collecting any evidence that could provide answers. Forensic experts meticulously examined the remains, comparing dental records and bone structure. When the analysis was complete, the truth was heartbreaking. These were the remains of Holly Bobo, the young woman who had vanished without a trace 3 years earlier. Holly Bobo was born on October 12, 1990, in the quiet town of Darden, Tennessee. The community was small, tight-knit, and surrounded by miles of forested land. Holly grew up in this peaceful setting with her parents and older brother, Clint. She was well-liked, described by friends and family as kind-hearted, intelligent, and full of life. Her passion for music shined through at church, where her beautiful singing voice uplifted the congregation. She had a strong sense of responsibility and was deeply devoted to her family and friends. Holly was ambitious and determined to help others, leading her to pursue a career in nursing. She was studying at the University of Tennessee at Martin and living at home while balancing school, family, and a long-term relationship with her high school sweetheart. At just 20 years old, she had a promising future ahead of her. April 13, 2011, began like any other day. Holly woke up early, around 4:30 a.m., preparing for an important test at school. She ate breakfast, reviewed her notes, and got ready for the day. At 7:30 a.m., she received a call from her boyfriend, who planned to go hunting on her grandmother's land and wanted to ensure it was okay. Their conversation was brief, and as they said goodbye, neither could have known that it would be their last exchange. Moments later, a neighbor stepping outside for the morning heard a loud, piercing scream coming from the direction of Holly's house. The sound was unmistakably one of distress. Alarmed, the neighbor rushed inside and told his mother, who immediately called Holly's mother, Karen. At work at the time, Karen felt a deep sense of dread and repeatedly called Holly's phone, but there was no answer. Meanwhile, Holly's brother, Clint, was still in bed when the family dog's frantic barking roused him. He groggily looked out his bedroom window and saw Holly standing in the garage with a man dressed in full camouflage. Assuming it was her boyfriend, Clint initially felt no concern, but something was off. Holly looked tense and her body language suggested discomfort. Uncertain, Clint called his mother to check if Holly's boyfriend had arrived unexpectedly, but his mother's voice came through the phone in a panic. "That's not her boyfriend. Get a gun," she yelled before hanging up. Clint rushed to another window just in time to see Holly walking toward the woods with the stranger, his arm firmly gripping hers. He suddenly realized the man was taller and larger than her boyfriend. In shock, Clint scrambled to call Holly and her boyfriend, but neither answered. At that moment, the unthinkable sank in. His sister was being taken. The police were called, but due to an error, the emergency call was routed to a neighboring county, delaying their response. By the time officers arrived, Holly and her abductor had vanished, leaving behind only ominous traces of the struggle. Blood splatters were found on the garage floor, clear evidence that Holly had been injured. Yet despite the alarming signs, the local authorities reacted sluggishly. The wooded area was not immediately searched, and no roadblocks were set up to contain a potential escape route. As the hours passed, a desperate search began. Family, friends, and volunteers combed through the surrounding forests, calling out Holly's name and looking for any clue that might lead to her whereabouts. Helicopters were deployed, search dogs scoured the terrain, and law enforcement questioned every possible witness. But Holly was nowhere to be found. Her cell phone data provided investigators with their first lead. It showed movement away from her home for about 30 minutes before the signal suddenly stopped near a dense forested area. Officers found the phone, but the SIM card had been removed, making further tracking impossible. Days passed with no answers. Then something strange began happening. Holly's belongings started appearing in different locations. Her lunchbox was found discarded on the side of a road. A receipt with her name on it turned up in another spot. Her student ID was discovered tossed carelessly in a ditch. Each discovery sent shivers through the community. Was Holly alive and trying to leave a trail, or was her abductor taunting those searching for her? With little progress, investigators turned to known criminals in the area. A man named Terry Britt stood out. He had a disturbing history of attacking women with similar physical features to Holly, but despite their suspicions, police could not find any physical evidence connecting him to the case. For 3 years, Holly's family lived in agony, not knowing what had happened to their daughter. Then, in March 2014, an unexpected breakthrough came. Dylan Adams, a man with a history of run-ins with the law, was arrested on unrelated charges. During questioning, he suddenly admitted he had seen Holly after she was abducted. According to Dylan, he had gone to his brother Zach's house on the morning of April 13, 2011, to retrieve his car. Inside, he saw Holly sitting in a chair, terrified. Zach allegedly bragged that he had kidnapped her and recorded an assault. Dylan insisted he had no part in it, but admitted he knew more than he had initially let on. Investigators didn't fully believe Dylan, but they continued pushing him for details. Eventually, the pieces of the case started coming together. Another suspect, Jason Autry, came forward and provided his own account, revealing the horrifying sequence of events that led to Holly's murder. According to Jason, Zach and another man, Shane Austin, had taken Holly to a secluded spot near the river where they had originally planned to kill her. But when a boat passed nearby, they panicked. Instead, they took Holly to another location. Jason claimed that by the time he saw Holly again, she was no longer alive. With mounting evidence, the case went to trial. Zach Adams was convicted in 2017 and sentenced to life in prison without parole. Dylan Adams was sentenced to 35 years. Shane Austin, another key suspect, took his own life before he could stand trial. Despite the convictions, many questions remain. Were there others involved? Were all the facts brought to light? What is clear is that Holly's life was taken in a senseless act of cruelty, leaving her family and community to grieve a loss that can never be undone. If you found this case compelling and heartbreaking, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. We strive to bring you real crime stories that not only captivate you, but also honor the victims and their families. Cases like Holly Bobo's remind us of how fragile life can be and how deeply a single tragedy can impact an entire community. By subscribing, you're helping us continue to shed light on stories that deserve to be remembered and told. We dig deep into the facts, uncovering the truth behind every headline and bringing you detailed, respectful narratives of some of the most shocking crimes. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to keep sharing these stories. We'd also love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about the way this case was handled? Do you believe justice was fully served? Or do you think there are still unanswered questions? Let us know in the comments below. We read every single one and value your input. Don't forget to hit the like button if you found this video informative and impactful, and share it with others who might be interested in true crime stories like this one. You can also hit the notification bell to make sure you never miss our latest uploads. Thank you for being part of our community and for helping us give a voice to the victims whose stories must not be forgotten. Stay safe, stay aware, and we'll see you in the next video.